And the story continues. Today, we're talking about Shenmue 3 for the PlayStation 4. Now, Shenmue 3 to me was nothing but a masterpiece. Now, in Shenmue, for anyone who needs a series recap, you follow the role of Ryo Hazukis as you go after a man named Lan Di, who killed your father and who's out to steal the Phoenix Mirror that your father had in its possession. Now, this is the third game in the series, coming about 17 years after Shenmue 2, and I think this picked up right where it needed to. Now, there's been a lot of criticism with this game that it felt outdated, it felt old, it just didn't hold up to what people had the hype for, but to me, Shenmue 3 feels like Shenmue. Now, this game, it has the same exact concept of the previous games. This game is a revenge story, a life simulator, and just very emotionally driven. So in Shenmue 3, you take the role yet again of Ryo Hazukis as you meet up with old friends from the previous game. Shenmue, who you meet at the end of Shenmue 2, Ren, who you meet in Shenmue 2. They're all there, and you meet a whole lot of different interesting characters. And this game plays exactly how I expected it to play. Even though it's built on the Unreal Engine, this game plays like Shenmue. There's a lot of really weird, awkward voiceovers. There's a lot of charm. There's just a lot of monotonous things going on between side quests, between having to earn money to buy things like goods, and just, little things that make the game tedious, but at the same time make it more of a life simulator, which is what this series has kind of really been about. It's a game in which you're trying to avenge your father, but you still gotta do life. And this game hits home probably as a person because you have your priorities. You have what you have to get done. And it makes sense. Now, there's a lot of interesting characters in this game, a lot of fun characters, a lot of recurring characters, and the game, as a quick spoiler, ends on a cliffhanger, which is exactly where the other two games ended. So I didn't expect anything different, which leads to the possibility for Shenmue 4. Now, graphically, the game looks like a Kickstarter game, at least in today's day and time. However, it's not bad. The game plays like Shenmue. The game looks like Shenmue. The music is still there. It's beautiful. If you've played the first two games and you enjoyed them, this game is going to be right down your alley in that sense. Now, certain things I didn't like about this game was the concept of needing to continuously eat so your energy doesn't deplete, which it makes sense as to why they would add that as a concept. It got a little monotonous, a little tedious as I was playing. The fact that I had to keep stopping, chopping wood to get money to buy food so I can continue to run and do stuff at a decent pace. And if your energy's depleted, if you get into a fight, you're going to get your ass kicked. Stuff along those lines. But it's all stuff that in the grand scheme of things, it makes sense as to why they're in there. Now in this game, you do have a cool kung fu leveling system where you can do different tasks like doing a horse stance, doing a one-hit punch, and then there's another one that's like a geese step or something. I forgot what rooster step, that's what it's called, to build up your endurance, which builds up your life. And you can also get different move scrolls like they had in the previous games, I believe, to learn different moves, but you can practice them in sparring to level up. Now, another big thing in this game is the gambling aspect. Now, there's two different types of currency, essentially. You have your money, and you have your tokens. Your tokens are used to gamble, to get more, essentially. But then you use those tokens to buy items that you can sell to the pawn shops to get more money. So it's kind of cool in that sense. Now, the game's about a 25-hour game. It's not really divided up into chapters or anything. However, it's divided up into a day system like the previous games were. The game will progress either at your own pace at first for what you can get done, but certain things can't be done until tomorrow hits, which, life simulator right there. Now, in itself, I'm happy they got a lot of the same voice actors back for this, and I was very pleased with this game. This game is slow in the sense of you can't run through it at your own pace. You have to take your time and kind of explore and understand the world and what's going on in it. Quick time events that were big in the previous two games do make a big return after you get about like 2-3 hours into the game, which they do get kind of annoying. I think in the previous games the quick time events were a lot easier to hit This game, like, you're gonna probably fail a bunch of times until you remember what buttons to press. There's a lot of chicken collecting for some reason. I don't know why that's a thing. But I guess they use a lot of that to get your knowledge ready as to how QuickTime events kind of persist, because they kind of all just fall into place at the same time within the game. Now, I don't really understand the hate, the bad reviews this game was getting when it was first released, because if you're a fan of the Shenmue series, as much as the game itself doesn't really jump leaps and bounds above its predecessors, the game is kind of what you would expect. It is basically a formula that's built upon the game's previous. Yes, it's been 17 years since the last game, but I wouldn't have wanted to go into this game under a brand new combat system, a brand new way of fighting, a brand new aspect. I wanted this game to continue how the previous games played, with some minor tweaks and upgrades, just because if this game is supposed to be this huge 10, 12 episode thing that they're trying to make it, Yu Suzuki is trying to do with this whole game, that's been the thought since the first one in 1999, it should play very similar, I think, to the prior games, only because it adds to what the game is. This game is not a game, I don't think, that you can really pick up and play and understand unless you've played the previous two games. There's way too much story, there's way too much lore, and this is just a continuation of that. As always, this game picked up right where 2 ended, just like 2 picked up right where 1 ended. And for what it's worth, I thought Shenmue 3 was fantastic. Those are my thoughts on the game. I definitely recommend playing this if you've played the first 2 games. If you haven't played the first 2 games, pick them up either on the Dreamcast and the Xbox, or pick up the HD remasters that they made to promote around the same time this game was announced. That can be picked up for about $20, and you get 2 really long games out of it. And then play Shenmue 3, because I can guarantee you guys this game is fantastic for what it is. It's what you would have expected if you think logically, I think. Yeah, the game could have done a lot more, but the game has the charm, the polish, the weirdness and the corniness, and the eccentric characters that the series has been known for. So those are my quick thoughts on Shenmue 3 for the PlayStation 4. I definitely recommend playing it if you know what Shenmue's about. Even if you don't want to play the first 2 games, there is like a history backlog in here to kind of catch you up to pace. So it kind of actually is playable if you watch that first. But the game itself, it plays. It's not broken. There's nothing instinctively wrong with it. It just might not be your cup of tea in 2019, but I think if you've played the originals, like I said, you'll understand this game. Thank you for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Leave your thoughts on the comment section below. That was my thoughts on Shenmue 3. If you've played it, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, like I just said. Until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. See you, bye.